a fraction of your dose daily with GH in the muscle will work so much better.
The next point that I want to get onto, back when I first started treatment, one of the only people who I could find online to help me many, many years ago was the late Dr. John Crisler. And right before he passed away, he was very big on this idea of daily TRT and HCG injections. And I'm not a fan of the HCG stuff, but what he was talking about was the idea of combining the TRT and the HCG in one syringe so that you can do the shot together daily.
Right.
And when I saw you talking about growth hormone and TRT in the same syringe, I was like, well, that makes complete sense to me. And it's very interesting when you put up these videos and you see people reply saying, oh, you can't mix TRT and growth hormone in the same syringe because one's an oil and one's a water. It's like, we're not trying to make a homogeneous solution of the two.
I
You can
know.
push the
I
plunger
know.
and one will go in and the other one will go in. And
I
they
know.
say, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, it
I
does
just
require a
did,
syringe. Like,
bitch. Like I
yeah,
just did.
I'm like, you might not be able to, but it's not that complicated. So the this the reason why I like when you brought this up, and it was just this light bulb moment for me, is that as someone who naturally has an IGF-1 over 300, growth hormone has never personally really been on my radar.
Right.
But when guys are looking at growth hormone, the big barrier to entry, from their perception is going, oh, well, I don't want to do a daily shot. But if you're already doing a TRT daily and you want to take growth hormone, this to me is like the most efficient way to get the most optimal protocol. So could you explain to guys, one, why you can put them in the same syringe and put them into the deltoid, not into the subcutaneous fat? And also why the combination of testosterone and growth hormone is much better for optimizing not just growth in the gym, but also health and longevity than just testosterone alone.
All right. So, okay, we got two divergent populations. Let's say you're 19 years old. Your body makes test, your body makes GH, you don't need either. Now, let's say you're 40 years old. Your body doesn't make GH, doesn't release GH anymore, and it doesn't make test really anymore. You need both. Period. And that's the goal is to get your IGF-1 at least to 300 because that's the medical cutoff for safety. Is there really any danger going over 300? I don't think so. Because the medical community is really dumb and they confabulate something that is a growth promoting agent with a cancer promoting agent under the auspice that, well, if you have cancer, the cancer is going to grow faster. I was like, yeah, but if you have cancer, you already have cancer. Growing it faster means you detect it quicker and you'll be able to cut it out faster before you're so old you won't survive cutting it out. Also, testosterone also increases IGF-1. So if you want to avoid cancer, don't use testosterone. Also, eating protein increases IGF-1. So if you want to prevent yourself from getting cancer, don't eat protein. Also, lifting weights increases IGF-1. So if you don't want to grow cancer, don't lift weights. So the whole point is any single thing that increases muscle also will increase cancer. Now, one person brought up some bullshit study that, well, they showed that if you lift weights, it decreases cancer growth speeds. It's like, yeah, basically, if you lift weights, you're healthy. If you're healthy, you've got natural killer cells. And if you've got natural killer cells, you'll be able to fight cancer in your body. My point isn't don't lift weights. This fucking moron that I just had to address how stupid these people are in the comment section. The point is that everything you're doing causes you to grow cancer. If you live in America, breathing the air causes you to get cancer. What do you call it? Drinking the water causes you to get cancer. Eating the food causes you to get cancer. The testosterone you're injecting causes you to get cancer. Lifting weights, eating protein, everything causes cancer. Growth hormone just increases IGF-1. And IGF-1 is a way that cancer can grow. But it's not the only way that cancer can grow. Everything you do can cause. If you grow muscle, you're growing cancer too, if you have cancer. If you don't have cancer, that it can't grow because you don't have it. So the goal would be if you're really worried about getting cancer, you should be drinking filtered water. You should be breathing purified air. You should be eating organic food. You should be doing everything. You should move to Europe or Colombia or a civilized country where they actually have regulations and the food's not toxic waste. But the point is if you live in America, you're going to get cancer. It's just a matter of time because of how toxic the entire environment is here. So the idea of avoiding growth hormone and aging faster to avoid getting cancer is retarded. So now that we've established everybody who's over 40 and probably a lot of people younger than 40 should be on growth hormone because your body slows down the growth hormone production after 20. So you're growing until you're 20, then you're aging slow from 20 to 40. Then your growth hormone gets cut in half again. You're aging really fast between 40 and 60. And then you have pretty much no growth hormone at all after 60. And your body's just supposed to fucking die because the whole point of humans is to procreate. It's humans like all animals, humans are just animals. I know you think you're special, you're not. You're just an animal and you're supposed to create baby humans. That's it. And once you're not pumping out baby humans, you're supposed to die because you're taking up resources that could go towards other humans that are growing or reproducing. But by the time you're 40, you're not going to be making more kids, especially if you're a woman. There's no point in you existing anymore. So you're still functionally useful. Like you can chop wood, maybe you can groom kids or take care of horses or some shit in the tribe up until 60. But after 60, people were just fucking useless. So you're just supposed to die. But guess what? We live in a civilized culture now where we can have great lives from 40 to 80, like Sylvester Stallone. And how does Sylvester Stallone do that? He used fucking growth hormone. That if you start taking growth hormone at 25 or 30 and you take a hormone replacement dose, people are so fucking dumb. They're like, I don't want my forehead to get big. It's like, does your kids have a big forehead, fuck nuts? Because your kids have a high growth hormone level, fucking moron. It's like, does your kids have cancer? No. Shut the fuck up about the cancer and the side effects. That you just replace what's missing and you keep that going and you're going to age slower. People are like, that's not true. They found in rats died of cancer faster. It's like they took rats that are genetically pre-designed to get cancer called Winstrol rats. And then they're like, don't use growth hormone, populace, because look, it showed these rats got cancer. It's like you took the rats that are automatically going to get cancer and you gave it something to make the cancers they already had grow faster, you fucking liars. And that's how these studies dupe the public, is that you have people who are uneducated reading the abstract and then making YouTube videos about it. And then your dumbass believes it. And that's how you get duped. It's propaganda. But that's funny is they're using you to promote the propaganda. So you actually come across as sincere. You're just retarded. So you believe everything you're told, like about 2 masks. If you're in the United States, these stupid fucks wore 2 masks. It's like they got, well, 1 face diaper is not going to do it. I know, I'm going to put 2 face diapers on. It's like, let me ask you something, face diaper crusader. Do you ever wear a fucking condom? No. So for 40 years, you've been fucking girls without a condom, but now you're going to put a diaper on your face to breathe the air? That's how fucking stupid Americans are. So the growth hormone, if you keep your level at approximately where you were at 20 or maybe 30, you're going to age slower. And there's 2 terms for aging. There's longevity, which is lifespan. Then there's vitality, which is health span. So maybe you're going to die at 85 no matter what the fuck you do. Maybe you're in the movie Final Destination and you're the Grim Reaper's coming for you at 85 years old. You could be like Sylvester Stallone at 80, or you could be like Stephen Hawkins at 50. And the difference is growth hormone and testosterone. So the growth hormone amplifies the androgen receptor's response to testosterone binding, and the testosterone amplifies the GH receptor, receiving the GH. It also, testosterone converts into estrogen, which when it binds to estrogen beta receptor, upregulates the conversion of the GH to IGF-1. And the testosterone inhibits the somatostatin, which blocks the GH. So people will say estrogen doesn't cause an increase, like that same fucking liar who says he's a doctor. He's like, estrogen doesn't cause an increase in IGF-1 because women don't have it. It's because women don't have testosterone, and testosterone, it blocks the myostatin. So without blocking the myostatin, then the estrogen is not going to do what it needs to do. That the estrogen alpha receptor is going to cause more somatostatin to be released. And the estrogen beta receptor is going to upregulate IGF-1 production. But because the beta receptor and the IGF-1 production is downstream of blocking that GH receptor, the estrogen alpha receptor predominates over that. But when you have testosterone, the testosterone blocks the somatostatin, which obviates the estrogen alpha receptor binding, making it kind of irrelevant and allows the estrogen beta receptor to do its thing of converting the GH to the IGF-1. Is it more complicated than this? Yes. Is calories a factor? Yes. Is insulin a factor? Yes. So having a higher carb diet, you're going to grow more muscle than a low carb diet. But a higher carb diet is going to grow more cancer than a low carb diet. That's why for a long time, keto diets were a great way adjunctively treating cancer is on top of the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and excision surgeries. You could just decrease the carb content of the person's diet and the cancer would grow slower. So by putting the GH and the test together, you minimize the shots. So there's people like, I don't want to do daily shots. I'm like, don't you use GH? Like, yeah. I was like, so you already do daily shots? Like, yeah. So put the test in the same fucking syringe as the GH, fuck nuts. And then be like, oh, I didn't think of that, but I can't use that. It's an insulin syringe. It's like you use a 27 gauge insulin syringe, it draws right up. And then there's all these bitches who want to use backloading because it makes the needle dull. It's like, oh my God, dude, if that hurts that bad, do you even fucking lift weights? I can't imagine someone taking sets to failure, but then bitching because the needle was dull. It's like you're taking drugs to be more manly, but you can't handle the shot. That's so counter, like, it doesn't make any sense. The whole point is you want to be more masculine. Well, masculine men don't whine about pain. They embrace it because the more pain makes you tougher. So it just boggles my mind, these soft people. Like it's basically like the weightlifting gloves that you don't see, or the people who run their oils under hot water to make it thinner so it hurts less. Like a baby's got to have warm milk. That these big guys are like babies. They have to have warm oils injected in their butt. So the whole point of injecting the glute is that the glute's a big muscle, so it absorbs more. They tested this on 70-year-old dudes. The 70-year-old dudes didn't have deltoids or triceps. Old men, if you've ever dissected a human, old men have paper thin muscles, like paper thin muscles. Like I don't even know how to describe it. It's so you could grasp it. Like you ever go to Costco or go to Walmart and get the Oscar Mayer bologna. The Oscar Mayer bologna is all marbled with fat and it's paper thin. That's what a normal old person's muscle looks like when you take them apart. So on someone who actually has a delt or an actual tricep, shit'll absorb just fucking fine. And then it doesn't need to be that long of a needle. And again, the insulin needle is going to work. A 27 gauge half-inch needle is going to work unless you're super fucking fat. Then you can't even inject there. If you're that fat, you shouldn't be doing steroids anyway because the aromatase enzyme exists in the fat. So the injecting the fat is so dumb because you're basically begging for the testosterone to get converted to into estrogen. And people are going to say, well, they found that daily injection subcutaneous had less estrogen conversion. It's not because it was subcutaneous, dipshit. It's because it was daily. They confabulated the data to prove the narrative they wanted to push. They compared sporadic injections intramuscular to daily subcutaneous injections and then incorrectly attributed the difference to the location of the shot, not the frequency of the shot, because they're fucking terrible scientists. So putting it in the same syringe, the testosterone and the GH, will be more convenient because you'll only have to give yourself 7 shots a week instead of 14. And is there a reason to use test without GH? If you've got a natural IGF-1 of 300, you don't need GH. Is there a reason to use GH without test? It's like, yeah, if your IGF-1 is like 100 and your natural test is 1,000, then you don't need test. But that ain't you. You wouldn't be watching this channel if that was you. So you basically 20 milligrams of test and 2 units of GH. If you do it daily, I get motherfuckers up to a 1,500 test in the blood with only like a 50 to 70 DHT and only like a 40 to 50 estradiol, and I get their IGF-1 up to 300 all day long. And that's simply by using a fraction of the dose daily with GH. That a fraction of your dose daily with GH in the muscle will work so much better than your Mr. Magoo bullshit doctor giving you 2 shots of 100 a week. Sorry, Dave. That was it. That's the whole spiel.